Hello, welcome back after a couple weeks off. This is the Cover 2 podcast. I'm Lewis.
Hey, I'm Evan.
And yeah, we're pretty excited to be back. Honestly, for me personally, I thought the break was pretty useful. I had a lot going on in the last couple of weeks with getting a new car, kind of figuring all that stuff out. A couple of things in my personal life, good things, of course. It's been good though.
It's not always, of course, but
Yeah.
same thing. And obviously, the break wasn't necessarily on purpose or wanted, but it was needed. Just a little bit of a reset, kind of give us some more content ideas, just kind of think where we wanted to go with this, and see if that is something we still want to pursue. That was a question I definitely had thought of in the few weeks I had off, and I did kind of miss it because, like I said, I kind of brought it back to the natural roots. Like I looked at a few of our shorts. The last two shorts we posted were pretty dead, pretty flaccid, which is like that's gonna happen, but I don't think that means we're falling off. I'm hoping we could still stay relevant in at least that department. Even with the off season, just kind of keep it fresh, keep it light, maybe talk about some more real life things or talk about some basketball or just different ideas. There's a lot of stuff that happens in the off season that can still easily be conversated. But yeah, no, I got back to the roots of the fact that like this is something I want to do. It's not something that I see necessarily being like a crazy future. I'm going to put my heart into it. I'm going to put my soul into it, and I'm going to put all my effort. But with that being said, I'm doing it for the natural love of it. I'm doing it to hang out with my boy, give myself some time a week to just kind of block out everything else and just talk about something that I love.
Exactly.
So, I think that's something that was needed.
I feel very similar, of course. I mean, it's always nice seeing you, and with how busy we've been,
it's been pretty crazy.
and how life has progressed over time. It gives us a solid time where we can at least see each other and talk about, like you said, something we love for a little bit of time. And yeah, same thing. I mean, time away from it, it's like you miss it. It kind of it makes you rethink about why you do it. Like, what's the point?
Just a simple level like trivia and games, and like just shooting the crap. Like just being able to talk, being able to be present, be in the moment. And I think I definitely reevaluated that when I was sitting there, and I'm like, yeah, this is something I do want to do. It doesn't feel like it's forced. Doesn't feel like it's a job. I definitely missed it when it was gone. And I think if you care enough about something, you make time, right? So that's kind of the idea. Is like if you feel like, oh, I just don't have time for it, then you never really crazy passionate about it in the first place. But I think those 2 to 3 weeks that we kind of took kind of gave us that time to kind of just chill for it. Yeah, just to miss it. Yeah, know what you had, right? So yeah, I think our last podcast was about the Super Bowl. We are now officially in the off season. Everything has been wrapped up. And we got a lot to talk about. So.
Yeah, we had the combine this past week. A lot of obviously coaching hirings and firings. Some news about players getting let go, barring trades. So big news today. I don't know if you saw that.
Yeah,
Murray.
Yeah. We've got some certain players that we'll talk about soon before we get into it. Because for those of you that don't know, some sad news in my life, particularly. But with that being said. As we talked about before, we've said it multiple times in many podcasts, this is going to be for at least the first 40 minutes where we'd usually, maybe not 40, but at least half hour, where we'd usually talk about recap of games and our thoughts and all that good stuff. This is going to be strictly fantasy for our specific fantasy league, our drafts, our trades, and just overall going over our season, how we think we did.
Yep.
Obviously, it's always good to evaluate yourself to understand maybe what you did wrong, what you can do better. And I honestly, now that I've really put it down and looked at it on paper, I can see where I struggle. And now that I look back years upon before, I think I have struggled with this years before, but I think I have a common theme of what I do to end up being a powerhouse every year, and I'll kind of explain that.
I mean, so far, just looking at your last, like your 80 to 100 picks, I mean, those are great draft picks.
And I think, it's funny, I'll get to it. I don't want to get into it because I'll ruin what I'm going to say. But, so what we're going to do is we're going to start off by looking at our draft. So we are going to talk about each pick and grade it, and I'm going to compare it to what other picks I could have had in those moments, and why maybe it was the grade it was, or maybe the grade that wasn't so good.
Yeah, you have to always bounce your draft picks off of what you could have had or what went before you, because you have to contextualize why you drafted, who you drafted, when. Obviously draft pick position plays a huge role, but the key thing throughout the season is hindsight when looking back on it. Like your later picks are great, people get injured, so your earlier picks can be terrible, So it's cool to look back. This is going to be a fun little conversation. I'm excited.
Yeah. Let's get right into it.
For sure.
So with the draft we had this year, just for context, it's a 12-man league.
Yep.
I had the 10th overall pick, and Louis had
the first.
Had the 101. So, Louis, go ahead.
I didn't trade any picks, so I thought about it.
I also did not.
Yeah, number one, I took Jamar Chase, which I'm going to mark as an A+ just because he was worth it at the end of the day. He was a top 3 wide receiver. I think he was wide receiver 3, I think.
He was the
because
4.
he was
the
4.
4.
Okay, and I that's totally worth it. He had those week-winning performances that you like to see. Obviously, I traded him early in the season, which worked out kind of at the end of the season. But yeah, so I would say that's an A+ for first overall pick. I would say.
Or
an A.
I mean, we're back like we're never left. I'm immediately going to disagree with him on the A+. Just
an A?
Just an A.
Yeah,
just because
that's fair.
The reason for that being is the fact that, like, okay, when we talk about rounds 4 and 5, okay, like when you're looking at the first pick of the 4th round compared to the 10th, those guys aren't as notably different. In the first round, these are the 12 most elite fantasy players in the league.
Mm-hmm.
If you were to say which one gives you more value, the first overall pick and the 8th, it should be actually a pretty good difference. I'd say a comfortable difference, right?
Looking back on it.
With that, go ahead.
Looking back on it, I mean, the 101 would probably have been Bijan or
Bijan would've been
JSN
great. Yep.
or Puka.
Yep.
Those are kind of the guys you would look here in hindsight as 101. And Jamar would probably be closer in that 6 to 8 range.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right. That's why I say
I agree with
we
that.
have 101 busts that are like, not even top 20 in their position. So he's nowhere near B, C, anything like that. I would just say a simple A is perfect.
That's fair.
He was productive. He was a good 101, but he wasn't anything that was like, yes, he's that 400-point guy. He was low 300s, and guys that got picked 10 to 15 picks after him did end up better than him. Again, still not a bad grade, but I would just say wasn't maybe a perfect 101 pick
100%.
if there ever really is.
Yeah.
But now we're kind of to go off that argument. My first pick at the 110 was Amon-Ra St. Brown, who ended up being a little bit better than Jamar Chase at the 10th pick. So he had 5 more fantasy points, just as productive. But the fact that I got him 9 picks later is the reason why I labeled that pick as an A+. You get a top 3 position as the 10th pick that you are very happy with that. I'm gonna say it's an A+ pick because then I get to go to the next round with a top 3
with a
guy.
better pick than I have.
And
Get a better player. Well, obviously, I meant literally a better pick, not a better selection.
Yes,
is what I mean.
I now have a pick 5 from now, and now Louis is hoping that Jamar Chase is good enough to maintain 15 guys. And of those next 15 guys that got picked, about 6 outperformed just straight fantasy. Granted, it's still a good pick. He still scored 300 points.
Yeah, A is a fair rating.
Yes.
Because early in the season there was a lot of doubt, and that's why I ended up trading him.
Right.
And it probably would have worked out better for me if I didn't trade him, but it all worked out inevitably.
Right.
I ended second anyway, but not because of the Jamar Chase trade.
Right. So the next pick I had was the 15th overall pick with the 215. I chose Bucky Irving. Now, for obvious reasons, if you watch the podcast or an avid watcher or even watch some of our shorts, you know that I hate Bucky Irving. I think he's the devil himself. I gave him a D. It's a D pick. When he played, he was
At
good.
best.
And when he played, he was productive. But I was looking for a stud running back. I was looking for my top guy. Unfortunately, the crazy fun idea of getting Jonathan Taylor was swindled from me. But now that I look down, that was a time I can still remember us being at the draft party, all joking about Puka getting, going lower and lower because nobody wanted him. Everybody was scared of the Matt Stafford injury.
Yeah.
We were scared of the Puka injury. We were scared of the role that Devontae Adams would play in the offense. And we were like, he was projected 112. I'll never forget it. And he got picked 120 in our draft. Wow. I could have had him. I could have had somebody like Brock Bowers. Who wasn't stunned. I don't know why I said that. Sorry.
Yeah, that was a misspeak.
I meant to say
because Brock was injured a lot.
I'm going to say Trey McBride.
Yeah, Trey McBride.
Where was he?
Trey McBride was probably a huge steal in the draft this year. Who ended up being, the tight end one and
could
one
have
of the
had
best
Trey
tight end
McBride. Okay,
seasons.
great. Everything's better in hindsight. But as for immediate picks that it would have been better, Puka would have been better, Kyron would have been better, Josh Jacobs, Genty kind of. Either way, it's a D pick. It's not an F because when he did play, he was actually very viable.
How many weeks did he miss?
He averaged 14 points, and a couple of those were busts because at the end of the year how horrible he was.
Yeah.
But the first 3 games he played was 15, 18, 15, and then 26. Like that's fine. I was still not stoked about it. It's a D, arguably an F. There's no question.
Exactly.
about it.
I was going to say
and
that.
you know I hate him. He's an F minus.
Yeah, it's unfortunate because going into the year, it looked like a lot of opportunity.
I was stoked with that pick from how he played in his rookie year.
And I think next year he is definitely, obviously, it's going to be another scary draft pick to think about. Picking him high again.
I'm not
but with Rachaad White leaving and the offense still having potential, he could be a good draft pick, and he might be a value at where he ends up dropping to. You can see it in the 4th round. Right. Maybe he's in the 4th round, and I'm definitely taking him if he's there.
Yeah, I'm assuming more 3rd, but I'm not saying that he won't be a good pick next year, but he won't be on my team. So hate
I understand
him.
that.
So yeah,
We all have those players. We
yeah,
just can't
your
draft.
second round pick.
Yeah, my second round pick was Josh Allen. So I went into this terrible draft pick. I marked it a C. It should be a D. I don't want to say it's an
A
F.
C minus is fair.
C minus because he was the quarterback one at the end of the year.
Still phenomenal.
Yeah, still an amazing player, but it is obviously early to draft. It's technically first pick, second round. Not technically, it is first pick of the last pick of the
Just to
second
put in
round.
perspective, he missed out on guys like James Cook, like Trey McBride,
Yeah, James Cook is who I should have
like
drafted.
JSN.
I should have drafted James Cook, absolutely.
it doesn't
JSN,
matter.
yeah. Well, JSN wasn't. Yeah, no, JSN would have been great,
With going
obviously.
with
Bad pick, yeah.
with
It's
going with a
C-
one-on-one
for
wide
sure.
receiver, it was just like we all were like, yeah,
Yeah.
he's gonna go running back, and the best running back available was James Cook.
I would say
It
James
seemed
Cook
like a
at the time.
no-doubter.
Yeah, but for me, heading into it, put perspective. I'm in Maryland. I'm sitting on vacation. I'm sitting on the porch looking out into the ocean. I'm vibing. I had I was feeling good, and I wanted a number one quarterback going into this year. Now, historically in the past, I've had a lot of luck finding quarterbacks later in the drafts because you can always find. There's 30 starting quarterbacks in the league, so you can find those players. You can find talent, which I do later in the draft with Dak Prescott, which we'll talk about later. But yeah, I wanted a number one guy because in the last couple of years, it had felt like the winner had the number one guy, the Jalen Hurts, the Mahomes, the Lamar Jackson, the Josh Allen. And I wanted that. So I wasn't going to get an opportunity. I didn't feel like I was going to get the opportunity for a number one guy I wanted, like that top five player at the time, top five quarterbacks at the time. So I was like, I'm taking who I know is going to be the number one quarterback in Josh Allen right now because that's the only chance I'm going to have at him.
Yeah.
That's just how I felt. Obviously, it's going James Cook, and then with my next pick, I ended up going Ladd McConkey. So now I would have had, Jamar, James Cook, and Ladd McConkey, and that's a lot better than, Jamar, Josh Allen, and Ladd McConkey. So
Because his running back one was, we'll get to that.
yeah, the running back room
We'll
ended up
see.
being terrible to start the year. I had no real starting running back on a team to start the year, but
Which is why we all clowned him for the pick. But yeah, so anyways, go to
So
Ladd.
then obviously Ladd, I would say I put it as a B plus, but it could be like a B. I mean,
He was wide receiver 30. He averaged 11.3, 180
Oh yeah,
total
so it's
fantasy
probably
points.
like a C.
It's
then.
probably more like a C.
A
but
C
still.
for sure.
But I just think because he played the whole season, that's just nice to have. Like somebody who didn't get injured. Like naturally, if you have a player that shows in the top 3 rounds that plays the whole season, it automatically puts him at a C. Just because like when you're in fantasy, when you're available, that's already just better than not being available, right? 'Cause you're not picking up free agent waiver wire guys. To have a guy that you drafted play every single week, that's nice to see. But granted, he wasn't great. He was good when you had him. We do find out that Louis will
Yeah,
trade
I inevitably end up trading him. He was decent for me. I traded him for. We'll talk about it later. And eventually he ends up being a pretty steady wide receiver.
Right.
But
He was
up and down season,
very boomer bust. Again, a
Extremely
lot
boomer
of games
bust.
under 10, but 4 over 20.
20
So,
exactly. A lot of like boomer bust exactly. He was kind of the boomer bust player, but he was always out there, so you knew you were going to get at least a few points from him, and then the opportunity to upside. But being at the first pick of the 3rd round, you're not looking for somebody. You look for somebody that's there every week, but you're not looking for a boomer bust guy.
No,
there.
not in the 3rd
Not
round.
even
You're
close.
looking for
You're looking for
consistency. You're
consistency.
hoping for like a 15 to 16 point guy would be really, really awesome
Exactly.
in the 3rd round. That's what we always talk about.
Yeah.
So as I was going to say, that I didn't mention before, when I look back at a lot of my years, I always feel, obviously this year being a little not fully true, but I feel as though this is how my season kind of goes. If you were to look at a draft, obviously your top 2 guys should be your consistent 20 to 25 point per game kind of guys. Now, when you get into those 3rd through 6th round, you want to have maybe 2 of those 3rd through 6th rounds be guys that you think can go absolutely crazy, maybe a little bit unsure of, but has that potential. Then you also want to choose 2 guys that you think can get you those 13, 14, 15 points a game. So you're risking it with a couple, and you're trying to play it safe with a couple. Okay, you can't go full risking, you can't go full safety because you're either really lowering your floor or really raising your roof to an
Unrealistic.
expectation
Yeah.
where you can just fall flat.
Yeah.
So you need to have that kind of balance. Now, I think sometimes maybe I get a little too scared and I focus too much on name value in these 3rd through 6th rounds. But what I do well is that when I look at those third through six, as you're going to see in a minute here, I draft awful. They're horrible, horrible draft picks, and they have been for years. But what I do is after the first week or two, when I figure out who actually is good and who actually is going to have some potential, and then I realize I draft like a moron, I try to sell them as fast as I can because of that name value, which you will see when we go over our trades.
100%.
With that being said, my third round pick was Chuba Hubbard. No explanation. It's an F. He was horrible. He got
Missed a
outperformed
lot
by
of
Rico
games.
Dowdle. He missed a lot of time. I don't really care about injuries. He was horrible without the injury.
Yeah.
In this same third round, I could have had somebody like Devontae Adams. I could have had Breece Hall. I could have had, a lot of Kenneth Walker, a lot of people that are better than him. So it's an F. There's no doubt about it.
Yep.
So
yeah, and my next pick is going to be very similar. I think I marked it as a D, but I think it should be considered an F. Marvin Harrison Jr., who heading into the year, you figured, he'd take another leap. He was a rookie last year, a lot of hype, high draft pick. Cardinals get new coaching coming in. Kyler Murray should be, back and healthy. The offense should be at least a little improved, and Marv should be the guy. And he just couldn't get separation, didn't look good at all, ended up suffering with injuries, had the appendix burst, which is unlucky, but counts as an injury, missing games. And he really never flourished into anything. I mean, he had a couple games early with like 15 to 20 points, and then a couple games late, but really I don't even know. What did he finish with averaging? Do you know?
Who are we looking at?
Marvin
Sorry.
Harrison Jr.
My
Pick
fault.
48. You're all good. But yeah, I mean, he was just overall a terrible draft pick. At that point, you're picking that kind of upside.
He was 50th overall receiver, 127 points.
And he missed a
and
ton
he
of
averaged 10.7 when he did play. It was just overall bad. It's
Bad pick.
Would you write?
I marked
D?
it as a
No,
D.
that's a fair D.
Yeah, but it's
Yep.
just not a good draft pick. I mean, going into the season, you just expect him to take a leap, and he didn't.
With my fourth round pick, I chose Lamar. I always said that I don't like drafting quarterbacks high, but he kind of fell into my hands a little bit. It just felt right. There wasn't another player in that specific area that I loved. And even looking back on it, there still isn't anybody I loved. Like after him, Tyrone Tracy Jr., Jane Daniels, James Conner, Jalen Hurts, Omarion Hampton, Garrett Wilson, Joe Burrow, Marv Harrison. None of those other players really stick out to me. I look at all those, and I'm still happy with my Lamar pick. This fourth round of this year fantasy, now that I'm looking back at it, was pretty putrid besides Breece Hall.
Even then, early on,
Breece Hall and
was
maybe
terrible.
DK. Yeah, Breece Hall wasn't great.
DK wasn't great
The
either.
whole fourth round is awful.
There's always a round that's really bad. Last year was the second round. A lot of the second round draft picks
Right.
were really, really stinkers. And this year, the fourth round was just, it's hard to, a lot of the fourth round is like, it's projection. It's a lot of younger guys you expect to take a leap. Older guys, older name value that you see, and
Name
you're like,
value,
they're
exactly
they should still be good or at least viable. And then,
Yep. I totally agree.
hard.
That's exactly what it should be. So, with that being said, I rank Lamar C. He was one of the better fourth round draft picks. When he did play, he was good. But unfortunately, he didn't play the whole season.
Exactly.
He was just okay. So that's why it's a C. And then my fifth, I'll just go right into it, was a 58 overall pick with DJ Moore. It's a D minus. The only reason I say D minus because he played every game, which is cool. It's cool to see you
Yeah.
had somebody that play every game.
yeah, he was.
But he averaged 10
And he
because 4 of those games were boom games. It's a D minus. The only thing that makes him not an F was that he didn't get injured or he didn't get traded.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
he was.
he was just not good, and unfortunately he will be undraftable next year, in my opinion.
Yeah. For me, as somebody who traded for him and got him from you and
We'll talk about it.
ended up trading him away,
Thank God.
he was an abysmal player to have on your roster because you
Horrible.
never want to start him.
Nope.
But you feel like you have to because his projection's at 10. He's on a
It's probably higher than
high
that. Projection was
a
always
lot
like
of
11 or 12.
Yeah, a lot of times it was like because 10 you can whatever flub it a little bit,
Right.
but he was at that 12, 13 sometimes.
Where you're
right?
like, oh.
Yeah, and with a Dunze going down for injury middle of the year, you're like, there's opportunity, and he just never had.
No,
it.
he never had a game.
He would run to the sidelines, sometimes give up on plays, and a lot of times middle of the game he's getting injured, and you're not sure if he's going to come back. He comes back, You bench him, he drops 30. You
Yep.
start him, he drops 5.
That's exactly it. He's a bit of a head case, and he's not the player you want in your team.
No.
That's why he's a D minus.
And I
but
tot-
he did play every game.
I totally agree. I think he's undraftable next year. Absolutely.
Totally
I don't even think he obviously has talent. He's getting older. Some team, the Bears should get rid of him, in my opinion. Don't even worry about him anymore. I don't know if he's a free agent or if he's gonna be or if he's still under contract, but they should get rid of him. And whoever picks him up should just be a terrible team, just
Right.
a bad team.
But that's what I just talked about. That is like
rid
the
of
name value. I hear DJ Moore.
rid of
Like who who used to
You
be and
remember.
was so good. It's like, oh, he's DJ Moore, like in the fifth. DJ in the fifth, that's a steal. And it's just not. I know for a fact there had to have been better
Yeah.
picks.
So-
but either way, it doesn't matter. I didn't make them.
So I'm going to go with my 5th round pick, which was the 49th pick in the draft. Pick before was my Marvin Harrison Jr., and then I picked TreVeyon Henderson as my first running back off the board. Now, I marked him as a C because of kind of what he ended the year as and kind of his value.
If you had
And I
to
didn't-
hold on to him that long.
Exactly, but because of not drafting a running back earlier, and honestly, in general, people were really expecting him to take the role from Ramondre Stevenson, which in hindsight never really made any sense because Ramondre's been there forever and they like him. He's an explosive athlete. We saw it on the field. He had those elite games, and that's what we were hoping to see from week 1. And it didn't really come to fruition until I think week 10 at that point, or week 8 to 10, somewhere around there. And for somebody who didn't have a running back at all, taking him as my first running back was just a really poor decision.
You felt pressured at that point too.
Yeah, and I wanted him too, which is another thing, and I kind of played into that. And I don't even know.
You did like him a lot.
I don't even know any running backs that were around there that I could have taken instead of him. I think at that point, our draft it takes a lot of running backs. I don't know how you're at home drafts, but running backs at that point, like TreVeyon Henderson was probably what I felt like was literally the best option at the pick 49, and probably all of the starting running backs at that point were gone, or nearly gone. So, yeah, I would mark it a C just because of how this year went, but it was an F for me for sure.
Yep. To go to the next round, my next pick, which is the 6th round, I had Jerry Jeudy. It's another D minus, arguably an F. The only reason he's not an F is because he played every game. But unfortunately, honestly, the more I think about it, it should just be an F. Again, another guy who just has a big name. I don't know why I ever thought he'd be talented with how psychotic that Browns team is doing. They had a lot of really nice young rookie talent, which is cool. But with that being said, guys like Njoku and Jeudy are falling off and falling off fast. It was just a horrible pick. In that same round, I could have had Stephon Diggs, Jameson Williams, who ended up being the 12, David Montgomery, who was sufficient, George Pickens in that round, Zay Flowers in that round, Jacoby Myers, Jalen Waddle in that round. I had the worst by leaps and bounds. Stephon Diggs, I don't know if I said that. Yeah. Leaps and bounds, the worst pick in that pick. The only reason I say it's a D minus because he played every game.
Are you sure?
And it is important to play.
In that round, I think I chose Harvey.
That's the last one. And even that wasn't like, it's still better than Jeudy.
Yeah, that's true.
It's not great. You were in panic mode now. You were just.
I needed a running back.
You were crumbling. Continue. Go talk.
Yeah,
about him.
yeah. But anyway, so in the last pick of that,
a D is better than the D minus.
Yeah. So the last pick of that round, I chose R.J. Harvey, another player that I like going into the year, and I needed a running back. And the running back room, historically in Sean Payton teams, he's been willing to use kind of rookie running backs and younger running backs and kind of thrust them into a heavily used role and give them passing opportunity. That was kind of what I was looking for. And R.J. Harvey, throughout the year, you could kind of see he had that the receiving upside. But I mark it a D because at the end of the day, he didn't really do a whole lot, especially for me and for really any teams. He had a couple games where, once J.K. Dobbins went down, he had a couple games that were good, a lot of receiving yards and some decent touchdowns, but it was anybody's running back room at that point, and really anybody got carries, and he just wasn't really that much that valuable.
So there was the end of my cold streak. I'm only going to go till around 12 because I think after that it gets unimportant.
Okay, that's fine.
Maybe
I got a couple that I'm gonna add, but after that point,
yeah, I'm gonna go to 12, and then after that, I personally think anything after 12 is insufficient. It's either defenses, kickers if you use them, or players who are running back twos and you're praying for an injury. But even then, that's not a good pick to me. If you're hoping on somebody's
12's perfect.
If you're hoping on somebody's downfall, it doesn't make it a good pick.
Yeah, those later rounds, especially in 12 team things, are just perspective. You're taking tight end, like you said, tight ends, defenses, kickers if you have kickers, and it's just kind of who you think might give you an occasional spot start every now and then.
Yep. So with that being said, here's where I get hot. My first pick of this hot streak, I'll say, is round 7 with Jaylen Warren. Now, when I did this pick, I got absolutely clowned for it. I picked it immediately after a different player in our league chose Caleb Johnson, the
crazy bad pick.
Well, no.
Going into the year,
you weren't at the draft party. Dayton, our commissioner, who is a huge Steelers fan, loved the pick. The person who chose it loved the pick. And the entire draft clowned me for choosing his essentially potential backup immediately after he got drafted. And with Kenneth Gainwell on there, they said I was silly. They said Jalen Warren is not fast, not talented, all of which are not completely untrue.
They were saying that?
I got clowned. I got
insanity.
clowned pretty heavy for this pick.
That's
Now,
insanity.
with that being said, Caleb Johnson ended up being a special teams player. Jalen Warren was the only player this year that I regretted drafting, which is really cool to say. And he ended up being the 17th running back, averaging 13.6 points a game in the 7th round. That is a phenomenal pick.
Regretted trading is what you meant to say. You
I-
said regretting drafting.
Oh, we're getting
Trading.
trading. I'm sorry. I ended up trading him. I was the only player all year that I regretted trading, which is super cool. He was a
Great draft
phenomenal. I roll A minus. It's an A minus A. I mean,
I think it's an A if you don't trade him.
right,
you know what I mean?
Right.
Like-
But as for draft purposes, I mean, he had to be one of the best in that area. So I mean,
You can't find a lot of value
especially
there.
with the whole Bucky thing. There was weeks I started him as my RB1. He was good. I'm very happy that I got him.
Yeah, I mean,
That's
in
my A minus pick.
the first pick of that same round, I chose Devonta Smith, who I marked.
Very good pick.
I marked as a B, but
B plus. I like that. Yep.
Yeah. Again, I'm pretty sure he played every game, maybe all but one or two, and he ended up being, I'm pretty sure, better than AJ Brown.
He was the 20th, but with somebody like Devonta
season.
Smith, he is the most true boomer bust guy you'll ever get, which is like,
And buying into an Eagles offense that like really didn't have an identity going into the year, it just was not really great. And I end up trading him early too. But yeah, it would be B plus. I thought it was a decent trade, a decent pick. At this point, I'm just trying to find any value because my team is terrible.
Yeah,
Looking back on this,
horrible.
it is unbelievable that I was able to even have a chance to win the league.
and by
It's
by
actually
now,
unbelievable.
I remember specifically calling him. He was in full panic mode at this point. He was like,
like,
I
it is
don't know
what it
what
is,
I
man.
just did.
It is
It's
what
like
it is.
one of those. I've had those moments where I
Crazy.
drafted in a different league, and I was like, this was last year, and I remember coming out. We were living together at the time, and I was like, look what I just did. I go, I didn't get like a running back. I had like
I feel like
a
you
line-
got into a car accident.
Yeah. I was like, I didn't have a running back, and it was like round 6. I was like, everything's just horrible.
It's over.
But anyways, besides the point, let's keep moving. We're wasting a little time.
Yeah. But Don Smith, it's a decent pick, but like boomer best guy.
So what's your next one?
My next one, I had Austin Eckler. Because at this point, I'm looking for running backs to start. He was projected to be the starting running back, kind of with Brian Robinson at that point being kind of in play. I mark him an F because I think week 2 or 3 he ruptures his Achilles or tore his
He's an
ACL or whatever. So it's an F pick.
Can I just comment that
Terrible
Javonte
pick.
Williams was picked right before this, by the way?
Yeah, and that's who I wanted. That's who I
But
wanted.
you should have gotten it.
I was hunting him. But I mean, I don't know. I was in, like he said, I had to be in full panic mode, and at this point, I was just, it was terrible. It was all bad. It was all bad.
To continue my hot streak, my pick in the 8th round was Chris Olave. I mean, A plus, no doubt about it.
Mm-hmm.
Arguably him or Javonte Williams being the best pick in this round. He was the 6th overall fantasy, 270 points, 17 a game as
Crazy.
the 87th overall pick. It's an A plus. I'm not even going to get more into it.
It is
So,
an A plus. You can't do much better than that. I mean,
Nope.
he was the 6th overall wide receiver.
Sixth overall wide
It's
receiver.
unbelievable. You don't find those often. You crushed that pick.
Yep. And to continue my hot streak, my next crush pick was Tyler Warren, the tight end for the Colts with the 106. I chose him, another A plus. He was the 4th overall fantasy tight end. Only averaged 11 a game, but he played every single game, and he was something to rely on. At the end of the year, after the unfortunate MVP favorite Daniel Jones went down, he fell off a cliff. But when he was with Daniel Jones, he was phenomenal. And I'm
Amazing.
very, very happy to see that Daniel Jones got franchise tag for $40 million because that is what he is worth.
All right. So yeah, great pick in that. And one thing I would say is the only reason he is 4th and not higher, like a top 3 tight end, is because Kyle Pitts had the 50-point game at the end of the year.
And he lost his incredible quarterback.
Yeah, and he lost his quarterback. But yeah, so my pick in that same round before Tyler Warren was Khalil Shakir, who I marked as a B plus, and ESPN themselves said that was my steal of the draft, just because played every game.
It was.
Averaged
10.4,
10.4
which is
a
great,
game,
which is
and
great.
he would, and it wasn't like when you see somebody averaging 10.4. A lot of times it's 2 and 16, but he was pretty
he
much
was
getting
he was actually
9 to
10
11 every single week,
And
which
he didn't play the last game. So
which gave me a lot of. I needed that at least some steadiness to keep my floor not terrible because my draft was terrible. But yeah, Shakir helped a lot.
looking back on it, Olave should be like an A plus 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 plus. Like
Olave and Warren. Both Warrens and Olave.
No, this one though, this is like this. Honestly, besides Amon-Ra being my
That might be
with
the best
10th overall, this
draft
is the
pick.
best draft pick I'd say would be Chris Olave
in the entire draft, barring any team. I think that might be the best
It's
draft
one of
pick.
the. It's just for
Period.
location value. It's insane.
Uh-huh.
And then honestly, to continue it with the 10th round pick being Juwan Johnson, once again at 33 overall, 33rd overall,
Great pick.
wide receiver, averaged 11.6, played every single game except for 2. That is phenomenal. Again, granted, a bye week where I need him to play. A couple injuries where he's my second flex because we played 2 in our league for some reason.
Yeah.
He was great. He's an A-. I mean, he just unfortunately the only reason he's an A- because he did only average 11 all year, even with the Ricky Pearsall injury, the Brandon Ayuk injury, and psychoticness that he's going through. The problem is that honestly, I think the only reason I put him A- is because his potential was so much higher with the situation he was put into, but unfortunately, it was the CNC show. So,
yeah, he ended up being the wide receiver 1 for that team. You know, he was the number 1 wide receiver.
So
for them,
to get that in the 10th round, super cool.
Yeah. So for me, the next pick I had was at 120, and it was Cam Scatterbo. I have it marked as a B, but because of the injury, I have it marked as a B.
Right. It should have been an A+.
It should have been an A+.
It could have been an A+.
An absolute steal of the draft, or steal of one of the steals of the draft.
Yep.
He really carried me early on in the season, won me a couple weeks because of those, like the 3 touchdown performance, the Chargers game. He got me 20 point. He was like 20 point, and then he broke his ankle, and unfortunately, that was right after Neighbors, who I traded for. We'll talk about later, tore his ACL. So I went through a lot, but it worked out. Cam Scatterbo, B. I mean, he's going to be, even coming off the injury, I think next year he's going to be a good player because the injury really wasn't as bad as it looked. They didn't have to do too invasive of a surgery. There wasn't that much damage in there, as bad as it looked. So pretty simple surgery, and I think he's going to come back good. He's going to be our number 1 guy, hopefully. I hope we don't sign anybody in free agency personally because I like kind of Scatterbo and Tyron Tracy, but there's murmurings that we might. Yeah.
My last pick with the 12th round, we had a couple more, but the last one that actually matters, in my opinion, was Caleb Williams being an A pick. He ended up being the, I think, 6th quarterback or so. 7th.
Yeah, Dak was 6th.
7th. He had phenomenal draft capital. Great. He allowed me to. I actually played him in some situations. Fortunately, I did get Stafford from a trade or maybe waiver wire. I'll explain that later. But
waiver.
He ended up being very valuable. I was very, very satisfied to have him. He was just steady. I mean, at 19 projected to get a quarterback that late, it just shows you that I didn't have to waste the Lamar pick. Fortunately, that 4th round, like you said, was horrible. But if there was somebody else really valuable there, again, let's say in the best case scenario, I choose another good player, and I could just sit with Caleb Williams averaging 18. I'd be stoked with that.
Yeah, I was a little, honestly, when you traded Caleb Williams, I was a little disappointed because I felt like he could kind of, I've made it known and in other episodes have mentioned that I'm a Caleb Williams believer, and I like Caleb Williams a lot, and I thought he could really kind of continue. At that point, he was averaging 20, 22 points a game. He could continue his run, but you traded him at the perfect time because after that, a few weeks, he had like 14, 13, and really wasn't that valuable, and you made a really good decision.
Our next conversation, hopefully, will be a little quicker, but it will be about our trades, and that's really where I shine. So anyways,
I just want to mention my last pick. I think I had Kincaid in there, but he was injured all the time. I gave it a C. It's probably an F pick, but he was my tight end for a lot of the year. But the pick after that at 144, I think that's the 7th round. Yeah.
No. 144 is the 12th round.
It is. Oh, my bad. 12th round.
It's the last pick of the 12th round.
12 times 12. Yeah. 13th one of the Pardon me. Anyway, it was Dak Prescott. Now, this is an A+ pick in my opinion. He finished as the 6th overall quarterback. He had a lot of weeks a lot of week winning performances on one of the highest powered offenses in the league, and him with George Pickens, who ended up combining later, really helped me survive that and make a good push to the championship. And that's kind of the key on why you don't pick a Josh Allen.
You don't need to get Josh Allen.
The second round because
Lamar.
Yeah, at that point, towards the end of the year, Dak Prescott was outperforming Josh Allen in many cases, and just more consistent. Josh Allen had a lot of boom bust performances, and obviously he's getting those high 30, mid 30 games, but it's once in a while. What would you rather have? Would you rather have 25, 25, 25, or that 35, 18?
And the thing is, it's not even that. What I always say thing too is like we I know I've said it in previous podcasts. You don't need to get a quarterback draft high. He can replace that second round for so many of those good third round picks like James Cook. Then he sits there and he has Dak Prescott scoring him 20 points a game while James Cook's also scoring him 17.
Yeah.
The combined 37 is better than the combined 30 that he has with the 0.1 that a normal 12th round pick gives you.
Yeah.
Right? You just gotta think value.
You got to know where your value's at. You know, you got to make the smart decision. It was a terrible draft, but it worked out because of my trades.
I'm the same thing. My draft wasn't great. It was very ups and downs. It started at a very high, creeped the lowest of lows, and got back to the highest of highs. It's a perfect valley, and the valley being that 3 through 5 rounds. So yeah, I mean, I would say my draft overall was a B. I'd say B plus. I mean, to draft that phenomenal, that valuable, that late is great. But I was a couple picks away from being a team that I didn't even need to trade.
Yeah.
But that's not who I am. I trade no matter who my team is. So I'm just going to run through my trades quick. I'm going to rip right through them, talk about them, influential, not influential, and then we'll get onto his, okay?
I'm going to grade my draft real quick.
Sorry. Go ahead.
I'm just going to say C minus.
Yeah.
You could argue D or F, honestly. But
A D's fair.
I would say I'm gonna say C minus just to make me feel a little better, but it was terrible. And I needed trades, and I needed to sell my stud players that you like to keep throughout the year that you figure would give you that championship upside, like Jamar and Josh Allen.
Sell Josh. He didn't have.
I had to trade them. I had to trade them. So, and I ended up doing it, and it ended up working out. So, yeah, but C minus.
Well,
not a great
Good
draft.
thing is we can now learn for next year, hopefully.
No, definitely. Yeah, don't draft while you're on vacation.
Don't draft.
Which I think is going to happen again based on when I'm going on vacation.
Really?
Yeah.
Don't draft on vibes.
Yeah,
everybody.
don't draft on straight vibes, brother. Do some research and.
So
All right,
right
go through your
at the
trades,
beginning of the season, my year of trading starts with me trading away Jalen Warren and Hollywood Brown for Tyreek. It actually wasn't a horrible pick. Reek was a little valuable until he obviously got that gruesome injury. Fortunately for me, I am a very I'm kind of like those guys that do the houses. I just flip players. People rotate through my roster like no tomorrow. I trade the most in the league, 0.0% doubt about it. I am the most active in the group chat. I'm always trying to flip players.
Always.
I'm just trying. Even if my team's phenomenal, I want them to be better than phenomenal. I just never can get comfortable. And I think that's the success for winning, because I think when I'm never comfortable and I am constantly flipping, I am most successful. When it gets to the point in the year when I no longer, the power is taken out of my hands every single year, it seems like something goes wrong. It just sucks. It sucks. But anyways, besides the point. So I start off the year with trading that. That's probably, honestly, I'll say it right now, that's the worst trade I make all year. It only gets better. So I get Tyreek for Jalen Warren. It wasn't great. Jalen Warren was very good. Tyreek ends up getting injured. Fortunately, I get rid of him before that. Right at the next trade being this, I end up getting, I get both James Conner, who was awesome at the time, and JSN being the wide receiver 1 for Tyreek and Chuba Hubbard. Now, if that's not the biggest swindle of all time, I don't know what is.
Phenomenal trade. One of probably the best trade of the year in terms of like getting value back for players that really weren't worth it at all. Amazing draft pick.
I mean, it's an A plus. For
A plus
for
value.
JSN, and then for James Conner, obviously, like I said, he did get hurt, but when he played, he was so good. So then,
unbelievable, you pulled that off.
The next one, I end up trading. This is James Conner ends up going down. I have Trey Benson on my bench. I actually did draft Trey Benson. Didn't talk about that. So now Trey Benson actually has some value. That's one of those guys where I prayed in somebody's downfall. I got lucky having Trey Benson. I make a 1-1 trade for Chase Brown for Trey Benson. Phenomenal
great trade.
Unfortunately, the
steal.
league kind of sniffed that one out a little bit. They make me add in Juwan Jennings, which I was a little upset about because he does end up being a kind of an A+, A- draft pick. Granted, still not a stud. He still only averaged 11, and he is still a 11th round guy. But I was a little upset about it because that's a flex spot that I could have used. Either way, I get Chase Brown. I'm stoked now because Chase Brown ends up being very good.
For another team.
I also have at this time, I end up picking up Hunter Henry off the waiver wire for nothing. Then the next week, I end up trading him for Nick Chubb. It was not a great draft, or not a great trade. Again, it's one of those insignificant ones. I just kind of roll right by it because I already had Tyler Warren. I didn't need Hunter Henry. And I was looking for a running back to kind of help my flex maybe during those bye weeks because Bucky Irving was being
useless.
A loser. I was going to say a lot of other words, but yeah, useless. So that trade happens. Cool. Nothing too crazy about that.
That was so annoying. I was so mad because like Hunter Henry had just dropped like 20 points. I think.
For one, he had 1 week.
Yeah,
good.
yeah.
Yep.
And then
somebody
and
bid
they,
on
and they
him.
dropped them, and you had like the next waiver spot because you were leading the league at this point, so your waiver order was way back.
Correct.
And everyone had added all these players, and one of the players that an ad drop was added somebody and dropped Hunter
Henry. So could not believe
it
why.
was Spalding, I think.
What horse is
And then you were the next guy in waiver order, and you got him, and you traded him immediately.
I literally just got a freaking Nick Chubb. And at the time, granted, Nick Chubb was not good, and Andy ends up getting hurt. At the time, that was actually very valuable for me.
We liked that trade.
Oh, I still like that trade. The next one is I trade a bunch of bums. Not bums. Kenneth Gainwell ends up having a couple boom games near the end. Troy Franklin ends up being serviceable. Jerry Jeudy is awful, as I've talked about. He's a horrible player. And I get David Montgomery for those three. Again, a guy who is absolutely horrible, looking for some depth, some bad depth in his team. And I get David Montgomery for it.
And your team's so deep at this point, you don't need all those players, and you're never going to play those players
David
anyway.
Montgomery is a flex 1, flex 2 spot.
Yeah, you're condensing your talent into one player that you can feel comfortable playing, and all those other players you can't.
Yep. This next trade here is probably one of the worst ones. Besides the first trade, one of the bad ones I made. I ended up trading away DJ Moore, who is awful, but then I ended up trading away Chase Brown, who would have been phenomenal to end the year with. I'm very regretful that I gave away Chase Brown in this moment, and I trade him for Ramondre Stevenson.
To this guy.
And Ramondre Stevenson was somebody that I thought I liked, and he just wasn't the guy I thought.
Until the last 2 weeks.
I'm a little upset about that. And I did like him, and I thought that he'd be good. And I wanted to keep him to the playoffs, but I'm very emotional, so I do end up trading him about a week later for Alvin Kamara, 101.
Yeah, about
Alvin
a week
Kamara had
later.
a phenomenal playoff schedule, and I really thought he was going to pop in those. We will realize very shortly he did not.
He did not. He was
The
injured.
next trade I make is because this is another bad one. Maybe I'm not that good of a player.
Well, it's always you're looking at, but you flip so often, that it's
I'm
you
bound to
have
have some
bad
bad.
ones, but you then immediately have those bad ones. You think about the JSN trade.
That's phenomenal.
These other ones are worse, but
Right.
the JSN trade is a phenomenal.
But even
trade.
then, like, they're still all like, I can still live with them because like this next one, I trade away Olave and Lamar Jackson. Lamar Jackson was useless the rest of the year. I was so happy to get rid of Lamar Jackson. I had Caleb Williams. I had Matt Stafford. I get rid of Chris Olave, who hurt. He started to do really good after I traded him.
that
But
was a
then
bad
he
one.
gets injured, so it ends up not even really mattering. But I get Pearsall and Jalen Waddle for it. Now, Jalen Waddle, I was very happy with that pick. I love Jalen Waddle. There's no Tyreek. He had his good weeks until he did not.
Yeah.
With that being said,
Do you trade Pearsall to me the next week?
I end up giving away Pearsall for somebody decent.
Yeah.
So that all happens. Then I give away
You trade so much.
Nick Chubb, Christian Watson, useless, and Caleb Williams I got rid of because I just didn't need Matt Stafford. And I end up getting Zach Charbonnet and Chris Godwin. Granted, that was a phenomenal trade, but the fact that the Godwin was whatever, but the fact that I got Charbonnet, but it actually made my life so hard because I just never knew when to play him. He's like a better DJ Moore. Like he is so boomer bust, so touchdown dependent.
Yeah.
Kind of like Adam Thielen back in the day.
Yeah.
But I just could never start him.
It's a scary story because you have Kenneth Walker there, and you know Kenneth Walker's the better running back. We've talked about it, but they played them all at almost a 50-50 split. And he was getting the red zone touches.
Yep. And then the next one, which is also a really good pick, Jackson Dart ends up being pretty viable.
Very good.
At this point. He ends up sucking because he's not good, unfortunately. But I do give away Stafford and Pearsall, my waiver wire, and then a useless pick for Jackson Dart. Oh, well, that's another trade with Louis. This next one is the one I thought was going to win me the league. I give away David Montgomery and Amon-Ra for Jahmyr Gibbs and Kenneth Walker. Oh man, I won this trade like no tomorrow.
Great draft. Great
Jahmyr
trade.
Gibbs has 50 the next couple weeks. Everything looks great.
Amazing trade.
And then I'm the 101. I'm the best seed. I have the best team. The first round goes great, and you know the rest of the tale. So I'm not going to speak any more about it. I'd rate my trading sequence there. I'd rate that.
I was going to say.
I'd rate it probably a B plus.
Exactly
B plus,
what I
A
was gonna
minus.
say. I would say B+.
A lot of great. The only ones I really lost was. But even then, everyone that I lost, maybe for a week or two, the players ended up getting injured. The only one I truly lost, even then,
I think Olave would have been really helpful.
I think Olave, but
That's
he
what
still
I
got hurt with 3 weeks left. Like everything I look at, like yes, did I maybe lose it? But either the player got hurt or the player I traded for, I immediately traded for somebody better. Like I didn't really lose too crazy much. The only one, okay, I'll say the only one I truly lost was the Chase Brown.
the Chase Brown one you definitely lost that
lost the Chase Brown one. I didn't really get anybody good for Ramondre. That was a loss. I will admit that. But the rest, nothing really hurt me. I ended up. I flipped like no tomorrow.
If you kept Chase Brown, you probably would have. It would have been close to being really, really good for you. That's the worst one.
It's funny because my video of my trade was 28 seconds. Louis is 15. So yeah, go ahead, Lou. Your turn to yap.
All right, cool. So, starting the year off, we have.
You got it.
Oh, there we go.
Pause and stop.
All right, so the first trade, obviously we know in my draft I didn't have a starting running back. So I'm looking to trade for a starting running back at this point. So I trade Ladd McConkey and RJ Harvey for Tony Pollard and Cedric Tillman. Not a good trade. Really bad trade. Definitely overpaid. Thankfully, the next couple weeks, Ladd didn't really do a whole lot, and he wasn't really doing a whole lot in the beginning of the year.
He wasn't even a great pick. I don't know why we gave him a B+.
No, honestly, it was pretty bad.
He wasn't that great.
Dude, my draft was terrible. We could probably lower it to
so
a D.
bad.
I mean, and I made it, bro.
It's a D draft.
We made it out the mud.
It's a D draft.
So, yeah, Tony Pollard, I get him just so I can have somebody to give me 10 points in the running back position because I literally didn't have a starting running back at this point. This trade's got to be a D. I mean, it's not good. It's honestly bad for bad in the beginning, but it gave me opportunity. So then the next trade I have was 2 weeks later. I trade Devonta Smith, Marvin Harrison Jr., and Tony Pollard, who I had been trying to flip at this point. You know what I mean? For Malik Neighbors and Sam Laporta.
Oh, that's such a great trade. If they just stayed healthy.
It was an amazing trade.
That's an A+ trade. Sam Laporta ended up having really good weeks after that before he gets injured. And Malik Neighbors was getting
a stud. And I would at this point I wasn't
with Dart.
Yeah, exactly. And at this point I wasn't going to trade. I still had Jamar, and I wasn't going to trade him because I would have had Jamar, Malik, and Sam Laporta and Shakir and whatever. But as you can tell, I still don't have a running back because now I've traded Tony Pollard away. So I'm trying to look for that. But that was a great trade. And that same week I traded for him, Malik Neighbors tears his ACL at the game I went to. So then I have, once Malik Neighbors gets injured, next.
It's punch by punch. The fact that you made it to the championship might be the most impressive thing ever in fantasy football.
The next day, actually, once the trade gets processed, the next day I trade Jamar Chase. So I lied.
Yeah, he had to.
So I trade Jamar Chase and TreVeyon Henderson. So now I've picked both running backs that I drafted. I've now packaged them and I've traded them away for Garrett Wilson and DeAndre Swift.
Oh, DeAndre Swift, finally a good person.
Yeah, which honestly,
it's not.
I think
it's not great.
It's not a great trade because Garrett Wilson ends up getting injured and he's on the terrible, awful, disgusting New York Jets. But the DeAndre Swift trade really helps me a lot throughout the years because he gives me a solid running back
Swift is
throughout
really
the year.
Good for you.
Solid running back. I mean, he overperformed this year tremendously, and he won me. Going in the championship week, going into Monday night where he played, it was the first week of our championship. I think it's week 16, right? It was week 16, 17 was our championship. So week 16, I was down by 20, and I had DeAndre Swift playing, and he had another player playing. I don't remember what the game was. But DeAndre Swift ends up getting like 25 points, and his player ends up getting like 1 or 2 points. Oh, it's when I trade him DJ Moore, and he plays DJ Moore, and DJ Moore duds for him. Regardless, we'll talk about that in a little bit. Talk about that in a little bit. So, yeah, he really gave me a chance in the championship, so I'm very thankful for that. The next trade is another trade that so that DeAndre Swift, Garrett Wilson, I'd probably give it a B because I think it's good for both teams, and it gave me something I needed to give him something he needed, and I end up meeting him in the championship.
One because Jamar Chase is phenomenal, but it's a B.
Yeah, and we end up meeting in the championship. So the next trade, I trade Josh Allen and Sam Laporta for George Pickens and Ramondre Stevenson. So obviously we know George Pickens ends up, I think, wide receiver 3, was he?
Doesn't matter. It's an A+.
Yeah, A+. I get Ramondre Stevenson, who I end up flipping. Sam Laporta the next week gets injured, and he ends up being out the rest of the year. And Josh Allen is just, he
has Dak, so it doesn't matter.
Dak, so yeah. Now I get to partner Dak, George Pickens, A+ trade. Love that trade. Okay, next trade is the Ramondre Stevenson to Evan for DJ Moore and Chase Brown. A+ for me. Chase Brown ended up being I'm pretty sure, definitely a top 10 running back, if not higher than that. And also giving me that DeAndre Swift, Chase Brown running back room that is very solid. And DJ Moore for some depth.
Finally had a solid RB room.
Yeah, so now I have at this point, I have I had picked up Jackson Dart, so I have Jackson Dart and Dak as my 2 wide receivers. Chase Brown, quarterback. Chase Brown, DeAndre Swift. You know, I'm feeling good. I have George Pickens, Garrett Wilson. I feel like I've kind of pulled together a good team. So then I trade Jackson Dart to you as my next trade. This is 3 weeks later. I
don't know why I ever got rid of Stafford. Stafford was so much better than Dart.
Exactly.
And
So
it worked out phenomenal for you.
and I get Matthew Stafford and Ricky Pearsall for Jackson Dart. At this point, I'm still looking for some wide receiver help and some depth because my team is shallow. And Jackson Dart, was having those boom games that we thought.
And Ricky
Matthew
Pearsall
Stafford
was
could.
finally back from injury, and all the Niners players were getting injured. It looked perfect. I was very upset to give up Pearsall in that spot because I liked him at having depth, but I thought that in my crazy, stupid head world, I thought that Jackson Dart would be better than the MVP of the league.
Yep.
So
my last trade, which literally was just me honestly just hate trading somebody, I trade DJ Moore for Rashid Shaheed straight up right after the Seattle Seahawks trade for Shaheed.
that's actually not bad at all.
Shaheed ended up giving me 9 points in the championship round from the kick return he had in week 17.
No, it wasn't a great pick, but DJ Moore is so horrible that it doesn't matter. It's useless for useless.
Yeah, and at this point though, it helped me out in the championship. I didn't win, but it helped me out in the championship because, like I said, going into that Monday night game, he had DJ Moore playing, I had DeAndre Swift playing. He had a great matchup. DJ Moore dropped 2 points, and DeAndre Swift dropped 25, and it made me catch up. So it kind of worked out for me. But those are all my trades.
Yeah. So that's kind of how our fantasy year went. And in return, we're excited for next year.
I would say overall, I think my trading, I would give it an A. I think considering my draft and how terrible it was.
I would say everything for you was awful, and then you just turned a leaf. Your trading got better, your waiver wire got better, and you finally got something to go your way besides the devastating injuries you had. So
yeah, that was pretty terrible because I had Eckler injured, Neighbors injured, Scattaboo injured. Just Kincaid was injured a lot through the year.
Yep.
Yeah, just really bad. But
that was kind of the fantasy year in review.
Thought I did good.
Hopefully we can kind of improve on some of those aspects that we talked about for next year. It's so much fun. At the end of the day, it ain't that serious. I
love fantasy football.
It's all in good fun, and fortunately or unfortunately, I should say, we care about it so much that we're going to try to get better.
Yeah,
it's such a silly thing to care so much about, but it's like.
It's so much fun.
Besides just watching your team, it gives purpose to the NFL. So
it also it allows me to really dive into like players' trends and young players coming in.
It allows you to know the game more too.
Yeah, you can find value in more than just watching the game. You can see really what players' influence on the field is and how that affects your team directly. It's really fun.
Right. Yeah. That's all we got for that. So we'll do a couple trivias, do our usual thing, have some fun, and
that'll be it, brother.
Yeah, catch you.
That'll be it. It's trivia time. So I have some questions, kind of like a traditional trivia would go. Like if you're at at somebody's house, you're playing like some group trivia, and I have some multiple choice if you want to help you out a little bit. So I have 4 questions. So it's not a lot, but hopefully they're decent. So my first question is: what player was on championship rosters the most?
Like what player has the most rings?
What player this past season was on championship rosters the most?
Sorry,
fantasy football. I have a multiple choice if you want.
I mean, it's gonna be obviously, I don't think it's gonna be a championship roster.
I have a percentage as well if you want. Percentage of teams they were on.
Sure.
29.2% of teams had this in the championship had this player.
You had to think, first of all, it has to be somebody who had a decent season because they had to get there, but it also has to be somebody who did phenomenal in those championship weeks to win them those championship rings.
Phenomenal in the playoffs to get them there.
Right. Well, phenomenal.
As well as phenomenal all year.
All year just to have a decent record. Mm-hmm. Yeah, you can give me the options. It's pretty tough.
Okay,
it's
so
JSN.
Yeah,
lame.
Bijan Robinson.
Lame. I already thought of
Puka Nacua.
Lame.
Jahmyr Gibbs.
I'm gonna say it was Puka Nacua, based on the fact that he was drafted lower. He was phenomenal during the playoffs, and I think I know Jahmyr Gibbs wasn't crazy good in the playoffs. He was okay. I think the answer's gonna be Puka because I don't think Jason was great all year, but he didn't have a great, phenomenal playoff. Maybe Bijan. I'm gonna say Puka is my final answer.
Good answer. You're correct.
Yes.
Second was JSN at 28.6, so
Yep.
really close, and then it was Bijan.
Bijan third.
And
Junior
then-
Gibbs should have been fourth.
Yeah, exactly. Correct. Yep,
Yeah.
yep.
Puka. Great.
Yeah, Puka Nacua was on most championship rosters.
Yeah, he was so underestimated, and he fell in our draft. Perfect example. And just he was awesome. He was the wide receiver one, right? Or
No, JSN was. He was
two
wide
beside-
receiver
two
two.
behind JSN. Anyways,
All right, so next question. These are most of these. Yeah, all of these are fantasy
cool.
related.
That's
Just so
awesome.
you know, just because this was
It's
kind
a
of the
fa- it's a
fantasy,
fantasy
pod.
episode.
So since 2018, there have been 3 quarterbacks to finish as quarterback 1. Who are they? And if you want to answer like what years, you can answer that too.
Oh, 2018, there's only been 3 quarterbacks.
There's been 3 quarterbacks that have finished as the quarterback 1. Only 3.
Okay, well, Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson. I'm thinking of 3 guys. I'm thinking of Jalen Hurts. I'm thinking of Mahomes. It's got to be Jalen Hurts.
Incorrect. The first 2 are correct.
I know they're correct. Thanks. I thought maybe because of the running aspect.
You got to think of the overlap because Jalen Hurts was amazing, but Josh Allen was also amazing in those years that Jalen Hurts was amazing.
Okay, well, obviously his MVP years probably the MVP years for Lamar were his stud years, and then last year Josh Allen. Is it like a 2020 season, or do you not?
Yeah, it's 20. Well, since 2018. So
No,
it's
I'm trying to think like what
so-
season it was that is okay.
2018 and 2020.
This last player,
for sure.
how many times since 2018 has he been at the other like two?
Twice.
Twice. Mahomes. Yeah,
It's
okay.
Mahomes, yeah.
Okay.
In
It's-
2018
it
and
was just
2020.
simple. Okay. Yep.
Yep.
2019 was Lamar. 21 was probably Allen. 22. Lamar. Yeah, it's just
Exactly. And
it's-
then the last 2
It was the last 2.
years
It's been between them
Josh Allen.
two. Yeah.
All right. Next, what wide receiver had? What wide receiver set the rookie record for fantasy points? Do you want how many fantasy points he had,
What,
or do you want the
fantasy
year?
receiver?
Yes, I can give you the year if you want the year. So I'll say since 2012.
Oh my God. You can just give me the year already.
Okay, 2014 is the year.
Oh jeez.
And if you want the points per game, I can give you that too.
That won't matter. It's enough.
I'll have you guess the points.
Oh, 2014. Drafted in 2014.
Rookie, yep, rookie record for fantasy points in a season, or fantasy average per game. Pardon me.
For a wide receiver.
One of the greatest rookie seasons for wide receivers in history.
Okay. I just do much.
That didn't help you.
No, it doesn't.
That was the point, kind of.
I'm going to say just embarrassing answers. I don't even know who was drafted in 2014. All right, we'll go Odell.
Correct.
Okay.
Odell Beckham Jr.
I remember him having a phenomenal. I didn't realize he was that great, I guess.
What do you think he averaged per game?
21.8.
24.2.
Wow.
24.2 a game.
That's really gross.
Unbelievable. Yeah.
With
I mean,
Eli,
he had,
huh?
Yeah, he had like a lot of 40-point games.
I know he
that
was
year.
drafted in 24. I was like, let's just say somebody who was drafted in 2014. I just for some reason thought it was like his sophomore or junior year that were like his stud years. I didn't realize it was rookie, which is crazy to think about. Yeah. So what's the last question?
Okay, so I have one more question.
Yeah. Good guess. Way to go, Evan. I'm awesome with this.
Good guess, Evan. All right, Travis Kelce has finished as the overall PPR tight end 1 a staggering 6 times in the last 10 seasons.
Yep.
Who are the other 4 tight ends to take this honor during this time
Okay.
frame?
McBride, Bowers.
Do you know the years? You don't have to know the years, but
Okay. So McBride was last year. McBride was this year.
okay. So hold on.
Wait,
When you say last year, what do you mean?
Okay, this season was McBride.
Correct.
The season before this one was Bowers.
Correct.
And then before that, was that a Kelsey year? Or is that a McBride year?
The year before that is not a Kelce year or a McBride year.
Okay, perfect. So it's something different.
Yeah, there's
Another-
4 separate tight ends. They're
no,
not.
that's
There's
great.
no overlaps.
4 separate tight ends. Okay,
Yes, there's
awesome.
no
I didn't,
overlap.
okay, I wasn't sure. All right. Whew. Is Andrews one of those?
Correct.
Okay. Was it that season or no?
No.
Okay, I didn't think so because Andrews would have been back more. So this is the 2022 tight end 1 or 2023 tight end 1. Sorry.
Yep, you're good.
Who's a good tight end?
I have a hint if you'd like one.
Just give me the conference.
NFC.
Oh, was it Laporta?
Yeah, Laporta.
I forgot how great he was.
I was hoping you had the jersey on.
Either rookie or sophomore season.
It was his rookie year.
So
Stud.
good, man. Him, Jahmyr Gibbs. Oh, man, what a time.
Great
Anyways,
draft.
Yes.
Great draft.
I know. Trust
And
me.
then, do you know what the Mark Andrews year was? Perhaps. So it's
So 10 years.
10 years. So
say.
it'd be 2016.
I feel like it was one of Lamar's 19, 18,
Nope.
20.
Nope.
Was his other MVP year 22?
20. No.
21.
Yep.
I wouldn't have guessed that. How many do you have the year? I wonder. Had it been a
I
significant
didn't look it
amount.
up, but it was like
And then
I
the
think it
other
was like
six-
280.
The other
It was
6
big.
are Kelsey. So
Yeah,
sick.
it was Kelsey like 6 years in a row. I'm pretty sure.
So crazy.
Or 5 years in a row, and then
Right, and then
Yeah.
the 1 year. Yeah. Yep. Good. I didn't struggle too bad with that. All right.
job.
I got based on one. I'm gonna do one trivia before we do our immaculate grade. This is based on some recent news that we had that I'm quickly gonna touch on. Any other news, free agency wise and
coach wise.
coach-wise, we'll do next
Any
episode.
hirings, firings,
we,
free
we
agency.
have a lot of time and a lot of downtime during the offseason, so that'll be something to talk about. So, based on what you'll hear shortly, give me the rushing yards leaders since 2019 cumulative yards.
And so is that total yards like just rushing?
Total
cumulative?
rushing
Oh yeah,
yards.
since 2019. Okay.
Since 2019, top 10.
Top 10.
Top 10
Uh,
since 2019. So you need a little bit of longevity.
number
bit of talent.
number 1.
Rushing yards leader since 2019.
Derrick Henry.
Derrick Henry is number 1.
Okay, cool. Derrick Henry, number 1. The King. Number 2. I don't know. Obviously, I'm not going to go in order, but
No, please don't.
is David Montgomery on
David
the list?
Montgomery is on the list. He's number 7.
I'm sorry.
The reason why I did this trivia, I saw something. He was drafted in 2019, obviously 7 years ago now. He played with the Bears for a few years, and then obviously was traded to us. In recent news, we have just traded him away for a couple actually pretty decent draft picks, a 4th and a future 7th, to the Texans. So they now have him. I want to say a couple things about this before we continue our trivia, so you can.
Yeah, I
think
guess some
about it.
time to think.
Phenomenal for our organization. I mean, the definition of a Detroit Lion. Very sad to see him go. Nothing but joy for him. I hope he does well for the Texans. I think he'll fit great there. They have absolutely no running game with Nick Chubb being old and hurt and Woody Marks just being untalented. So I think he's going to have a phenomenal, important role there. I'm hoping they give him at least 65% of the snaps. I think he'll be great for that offense. He'll play hard, which is really good for that hard-hitting team as they are. I think he's going to be a great player for them, and I'm really hope to see what he can do. I think he would have played a bigger role for us this last year and a half, if Jahmyr Gibbs wasn't just so phenomenal. As much as we love him and as much as we want to give him time, it's unfair to Jahmyr Gibbs to give him anything less than 65% because he is so talented. Even though David Montgomery is the best running back 2 in the league, you just can't limit Jahmyr Gibbs' touches. It's just not fair for our offense. So yeah, it's really sad to see him go. He made a really nice post saying goodbye, saying how everything he's going to do from now on, he'll have a piece of Detroit in him, saying how important the team was to him. It was really nice, and it is very sad to see him go. I'm very bummed.
Yeah, I mean, he was part of a huge turnaround for the organization.
Yeah.
It was a great trade for you guys when you acquired him. Very useful. Allowed Jahmyr Gibbs to kind of ease into that what he is and
Allowed him to stay healthy,
exactly
to breathe.
Yeah, and Monty, a lot of value for you guys. I mean, and you'll always be thankful for him. And honestly, like I said, sad to see him go, but opens the door up for him, and you need to get value for him while you can. And honestly, great move.
And I think he wants to have more of an impact on another team. I think he's the definition of grit, and I think he'll always be a Detroit Lion. I think that's where he really made his mark as a player. Some of his best highlights and most memorable clips, like the 70-yard rush against the Chargers, and the power run against the Seahawks that one year, where the dude just comes and he stands right up and keeps going. He's just that guy. So sadly, Sonic and Knuckles are no more. So it's very sad as a Lions fan, but it did need to happen.
They'll be there forever. But
Right.
great opportunity for the Texans.
I think
by
it'll
the
be
way.
great for
Great
them.
opportunity. I'm excited for that.
Dave Montgomery is on the list. He's number 7 on the list.
All right, so I'm gonna go with Josh Jacobs next.
Josh Jacobs number 2. You didn't look at my list, did you?
No. I just was writing things down.
Derek, clip that. Make sure.
Clip that. Make sure his eyes don't wander.
He had, by the way, 3,000 less yards than Derrick Henry at number 1, and 1 less game. played.
Oof. Derrick Henry is
It's
amazing.
just
Just
a beast.
amazing. I'm gonna go with, you mentioned him, Nick Chubb. Is he on the
Nick
list?
Chubb is number 6. Very
Okay,
good.
cool,
Very
cool,
good.
cool. Alrighty.
They already had Montgomery's jersey changed on this.
Oh, sad.
Criminal.
Saquon Barkley?
Number 4.
Okay. Barkley.
You are starting to get the harder portion of this. You still have a couple big names out there, but all relatively gettable.
Christian McCaffrey.
Christian McCaffrey's number 8.
Okay, yeah.
I would
a lot of
still
injuries.
say one more stud name, then you're going to have to start getting a little bit deeper in your bag.
Alvin Kamara?
Evan Kamara is the first guy off the list at number
Oh,
11.
dang. I know he's a big receiving guy, so.
Phenomenal guess, though. He had 100 yards less than the number 10 guy, who have you not named yet. You are missing number 3,
Yeah.
who is a
Stud, obviously.
He's still a stud to this day. Number 5, who was a stud, kind of falling off a little bit. Number 9,
Aaron Jones?
Aaron Jones is number 5. Very
Okay.
good. Kind of the guy that's fallen off a little bit. And then number 10, same type beat. Just consistent, nothing crazy, phenomenal.
Okay. Derrick Henry, Jacobs, Barkley.
All these guys are still current, obviously.
Yeah.
It wasn't somebody who was phenomenal like 2014 that creeped into 2019, 2020. They all still play for a team. They all still start on their teams. So
Oh, no, he wouldn't be there. He's a receiving guy.
who are you thinking?
I was thinking Eckler.
Oh, yeah.
He's way down.
To a 20, but again, very receiving guy. If it was all purpose, he'd probably be up there. Obviously, McCaffrey would be like 1. Eckler would probably be top 5.
Top
but
5 for sure.
It is just rushing. So, because Montgomery wouldn't have been on the list if it was receiving.
No, this isn't a good guess. I won't guess him.
Let's put it this way. There's a hint I would give you for one of these players that would immediately give it away.
I was gonna say Ezekiel Elliott, but I don't
Ezekiel
think he's
Elliott
on the
is
list.
off the list at number 14, but again, not a bad guess. Only 700 behind number 10. Okay, you're still missing what? 3? 3
Yeah.
top 5 fantasy pick going to be next year. Top 3 running back in the league. He's just a stud.
Bijan Robinson, he's not there.
Bijan Robinson's not there.
So Jameer Gibbs?
Not Jameer Gibbs.
I didn't think so either.
So who's number 3 in the league right now?
I know it's insane. Obviously I'm thinking Christian McCaffrey was the guy, but obviously that's not.
I'd say it's a pure rusher.
Rusher,
Right,
yeah.
he's a rusher. This guy's a rusher.
This is always annoying when I blank on really good players.
Right. And then the other guy, that's number 10, is in the same division. So when you figure out him, maybe it'll help you with the other one. All these guys are AFC players, if that helps.
Okay, thank you.
Yep. Just to get us there, because when you think about it, you'll think, but you got to go team by team.
Yeah, I
That
know.
always helps me.
Oh, Jonathan Taylor.
Jonathan Taylor is number 3
Number
on the
3,
list.
yeah. Colts, I forget they exist.
Okay, so one player is in his division, and the other one is the one that would give it away right away if I told you the hint.
Oh, okay.
Let's do it. I'll wait till the end.
Maybe.
You'll get it right away.
Okay, so, no. So, Texans, Colts, Jags, Titans. Tony Pollard?
Tony Pollard is number 10 on the list.
That's
You gotta
insanity.
think Dallas.
Yeah, no, but I thought Zeke would be ahead of him. But yeah, Tony Pollard.
Yeah, Tony Pollard, 5,700. Again,
Wow.
he played another season than Zeke did. He has 17 more games.
Yeah.
So that helps. Top 10 rushing yard leaders by players. Okay.
Yeah?
Not top 10 rushing yard leaders by running backs,
Oh, by
by
players?
players.
Lamar Jackson?
Lamar Jackson is number 9 on the list.
Oh, wow.
So the hint I would give him is it's not a running back.
Oh, yeah.
Immediately gives it away, obviously. So, yeah, good job.
Lamar Jackson has more rushing yards than Tony Pollard.
Yes, he does.
That's kinda
Number 9.
funny.
Yes,
Wow.
he does. I mean,
And Zeke. And,
and a lot of players.
wow.
Kamara.
Yeah, Kamara. Yeah.
A lot. You should see all the names on that list. But yeah.
my
So
goodness.
again, he could have been there for a while, not getting that. You just don't think quarterbacks. It's
I
the
never
same thing
would've.
when we do like fantasy points and you don't think about tight ends. You're just like, oh, like you forget they exist. But anyways,
Thanks, everybody, for
Knicks are losing
watching.
to the Raptors. It's so funny. You guys are gonna be torched.
Just started. All right. Thank you, everybody, for watching. That was a fun podcast. We're going to hopefully go over some news next week and maybe some combine stuff. And
Sure.
maybe some draft, who we want our teams to draft. Because I know the Giants have a good draft pick, and the Lions have a better draft pick than last year, that's for sure.
Sure.
So, thank you, everybody, for watching. Please like and subscribe. Bye.
Later.